Hey again, this is the next one, the other video. And I guess in a sense you can say this is like me making up for the last days, the last videos. Sorry, do a quick check. Da, 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 da. Okay. But yeah, because I've definitely been missing my days. I said I was gonna try to do it every day. Definitely been missing that. That was my fault entirely. But this is called Media versus the People. Now, before I do this, let me get this move. Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, this is Media versus the People. Now, by that I mean I saw this video from. I'm a big fan of Kevo Stage and Doughboy and their Righteous and Ratchet. I'm also a big fan of Kevin on Stage and the Joking. I'm a big fan of that. But one of the things that they had in the videos, it was about um it was about personalities, media personalities, and how the media personalities, it wasn't a main topic, but it was about I think it was associated Michael Jackson and that kind of thing. But this video isn't about either Michael Jackson. It's more so about media versus the people. Now, what I mean by that is that people, I like to think media in itself, and maybe as a whole in conscious, in a consciousness, is false. Is unreal. It's not real. Now, of course, that may be obvious to you, but what I mean is, let's break this down. Let's unpack this. When you see these TV personalities, you see these radio personalities, and you see these YouTube personalities, that's all they are, personalities. They are things that are constructed by people. Of course, you could say in the society, there are personalities are things that are made up. And in a sense, you might be right. But at the same time, they are ones that are heavily invested in to the point that they're conditioned, to the point that they are just as real as our own expressions, just as real as a painting, you know, something that exists consistently in time. Now, which is the reason why if somebody catches like Alzheimer's or some sort of amnesia, they become a completely different person. And I say that quotes because it's what people say, and indeed their personality is missing, is gone from them, has been taken from them of sorts, and so and they say the old person you knew is no longer there, and that person that person that we describe is that personality. Um, Kind of reminds me of Split, or Glass, where they have the guy with the multiple personalities. I'm not too sure what that's called. Is that borderline personality disorder? Uh, it's not antisocial personality disorder. I can't remember. It could be borderline personality disorder, but I can't remember. You're gonna have to talk to a psychiatrist and for those. Um, that's definitely something I want to be one of. Definitely in the future. But going back to it, um, personalities. It's like um, they're not real, you know. And so I say this because when people get they say like they want someone who's engaging and they talk to you and they have this personality. Sorry, I got something. Okay, no, it must not be nothing important. And so they say they talk to you, they engage you, and they chat with you, and they say, "Hey guys, how you doing?" Da 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 da. Don't know if that's real or not. Don't know if it's from real people. Don't know if their personalities are just as reflected on the video. I don't know. I personally don't know. And with all due respect for them, that's just in their court. That's just them. Their responsibilities to handle. But in a sense, this video is to show not just those responsibilities, but these aspects that sorry, it's been flapping around. Um just the concepts, these concepts that people need to be aware about is it, not to be aware about because the video in itself is an awareness, is to show that people, when you see these people and you think that you connect with them, it's maybe it's because their video is well constructed to the point where they they their personality is very engaging and outgoing. And of course, they could probably be honest and say, "I'm not as engaging or not as outgoing," and they tell you these things. Sorry. Um. Yeah. I hope that didn't screw up my stuff, but they tell you these things. Okay. 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 Sorry about that. Yeah, and so they'll probably tell people that this isn't normally me, this isn't me all the time, or they may just switch off after the video. But it's like at times people do make it aware that their YouTube personality isn't really them, but it's a show. It's something that they construct for themselves, a media service of themselves on the platform of YouTube, and so the media versus the people is more so a concept for me that I've made up personally is when people get very well known and have accolades and are famous and people who are still who've been with them for a long time unless they've seen them at some convention and developed a personal friendship still don't know 'em. Regardless if they're their day ones or not. um you don't know them, you just subscribe to them for a long time. um Regardless if they told you things, they got a kid or whatever. Just imagine this. If you've been their day one subscriber and they get a kid, and yes, you send them stuff in. Again, there's a lot of things that come into play. They kind of switch. They kind of swivel back and forth. Where they not swivel, but they definitely ping pong itself back and forth. Where it's like you could have a real friendship, you could not. You could have a some sort of faux relationship, or just some mutual business relationship, whatever, with the audience versus the person speaking, the speaker in the audience. And, what I mean to say is that you don't really know until you know, or until you have a personal relationship with them, unless until you talk to them, until you talk to them regularly, and I mean in person, um, or over the phone, but typically in person. Because you know them, you see their personality, you see them talk, you see them their facial structures, and you see their nuances, and you see all these other stuff in there where you can make better judgment calls, or make better not corrections. I guess you could say corrections, more authentic corrections for your person. So when these people get involved with like controversy and stuff, and you've been there day one, and I say that not so much in spite or in criticism, like they may well be personal friends, or etc., who've been there with them for the longest, that they've referred to as day ones. But I do say that is like, if they have a kid, would they be comfortable with you visiting them? And that's a big maybe. I could tell you. Let's say if a person has 1 million subscribers, and they, oh, well, you had so and so. Let me come visit. Let me come over. D- Sir, I don't know you. Miss, I don't know you. You know, I'm just saying, just having this understanding. When somebody's in controversy and they say, "Dude, you need to stop that. You know, you have a child and stuff like that." I don't know. I couldn't tell. Maybe it's coming from a good place, but again, if this is a media personality, if this some sort of media personality, their response, especially if this person is very major, large, they can't give it unless they're an extrovert of some sort. My doubts is that they I don't think they can reach 1,000 100 million people with the same vigor of intensity and intimacy as somebody with his group of friends, handful of friends, that he can sit here and say, "No, bro, you messed up. You need to change." Or he's like, "Dude, you tripping? I don't know what you're talking about. You should probably kind of get out my face with that stuff." You can say whatever. But I can guarantee his or her small group of friends has a lot more connections and has a lot more intimacy, and even that come over to my house type status than somebody over the internet who's probably far away, probably has speaks a different language than you of some sort. They probably like you for your content, and it's okay to have a relationship that's media, that's YouTube friendly, that's whatever like that. But it's like keep in mind that that's where it ends. Um, unless he's meeting you and having a regular friendship, or he meets you at a convention, or if you just are friends with him or whatever like that, don't listen, or rather keep that with a grain of salt. You can sit here and say, these are my bros, these are my friends, my pals, my snakies, my blah 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 blah, whatever they want to call you. These are my friends, these are my patrons, these are my blah blah blah. You know, they say it said that from what I can remember, you can only hold within your mind what is like 100 or 200 friends, like people friends you actually keep on tabs in your mind. Um, and also I find it funny because I remember back in the day when I was on the site, I was like, they need to update their friends list number, and they were saying like, I got kind of like, I don't want to say it. I got a lot of replies. Let's say that, and they were saying that you should probably just erase a lot of your friends because how do you really keep up with that many people? And I had about what, give or take, 400 friends or something like that. And these are just people that when I was on this site, I ran into, and then I just like, let's add this person. Hey, you nice, cool to talk to. Let me add you. But comparatively, there was a fraction of them that I actually regularly talk to. Um, but yeah, like, and so just keep that in mind. Like, regardless, you might be saying, I'm the bro. Yeah, I'm his bro. And it's like, maybe, maybe not, because yeah, I think that's engaging. It's good to have a radio personality and be engaging with people, or I'm sorry, media personality, where you're like, where's my sparklies? Like, or like Beyonce, the Bayhive, hey, this is part of the Bayhive, these are my fans, but no, these are my Bayhive. Um, so it's and what is she? Queen Beyonce, I guess. So she's Queen B, Queen B. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, that's cool because that's how she interacts with the fans. A fun way to interact with the fans, and maybe she has a some sort of media outlet with a B or something like that. I don't know, but it's a fun interaction with the fans. And in this world of reality, it's always good to have fun in the social interactions that you have. So I like to think that building things such as those uh, is and also one of the things was that from that same video is that he was saying like when one of his real friends when I'm talking about Frederick Kevin Fredericks, ugh, sorry about that, we talking about media personalities, Kevin on stage, and Doughboy, um which is another weird aspect because um actresses, uh even then, and that's one of the importance of stage names. The Rock, Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Um, I think that's important of these aliases. Um, why you shouldn't say this is an actor, and I think it'd be better for them to have an alias. That way people won't be quick to just like, you know, let me find her address or something. Let me find this. Let me do that because I know her name. And I get it. Like people like having a name on stuff, but I think it'd be a lot more safer if they had an alias. That way, and even uh to erase that, not erase the border, but recognize the border between an actress in work and an actress out of work. If it's Emma Stone or Emma Watson or something. I saw this is a meme. It was something in regard both of them. It was a dilemma, and they use their names. I found it funny. Um, but yeah, let's say for them, you know, um, let's say she's at a supermarket and she's just buying bagels or something. Of course, you could be an aspiring actress, artist, or whatever, and you may be like, and which reminds me of La La Land. I think that's a perfect movie to describe how stardom starts and how it builds, and like the attitudes thereof. But it's like it's um it's like recognize that difference. And it also reminds me of A Star Is Born, where people meet him and they start saying weird things like their full name. Like, hey, how's it going, Johnson Johnson? It's like, sure, I'm sure they get used to it, but it's like that dramatic irony. Again, and it also reminds me of MF Doom, where he had his mask, and it's to describe it's to separate him as his own self from his artist persona, his rapper personality, which is MF Doom, versus the actual person. Um, and it's bad, is trouble and concerning because these media personalities, like celebrities, um, that's another moniker for them. Celebrities, they can't even go outside their house because they get bombarded with fans. It reminded me of Michael Jackson in one of his um I think the Mike Bashir interview. I know that's old, but I just recently watched it where he was saying like when Michael he was saying like, if I do this, if I go outside and they find me, they just gonna want stuff, want me to dance, want me to do autographs. It's just work. And that's a very sad fate. You're known as you're in the top, but you can't be like everybody else. You're at the top. People say it's lonely at the top, and it makes sense. It's lonely. You out there, you have this stardom, but you can't. You're just a star up in the sky. You can't be down here with Among Us commoners, and it's not even commoners. That's another moniker to divide us. But it's sad because it's like while you're up there, you are you're still alone. They have something that you don't have now. They have community. They have um just um, entertainment within them among themselves. I remember I saw this video about the rich, and they were saying love is something that they have because they're poor. And I think it's interesting because maybe that's true, but you know, you can sit here and have rich parties and have sex and all that stuff, and I'm like, whatever, I don't know how it's like to be uber rich, but what I am saying is that sometimes just being among the wealthy and talking about the same stuff can be unstimulating, can be very tiresome, I would imagine, um, which may even cause some of them to just put a disguise on and go blend in with everybody else because they like what people down there have experienced or promoted within themselves. Have food, talk, have fun. It reminded me of this video with Jay Z. He was next to this woman on the train, and she had no idea who he was. And he was just talking, She was like, "Hey, how you doing?" He's like, "I'm good, good." And he's like, I'm on the train, just enjoying myself." And then she was like, "Oh, okay, what do you do?" Oh, he's like, "I'm off to work," And then he's on the train, you don't know. And she didn't know. She's like, "Okay, that's nice." And they just had conversations, and I'm like, as a star, as a celebrity, whatever you want to call it. And I'm not gonna lie, if I have be starstruck. That's just something that's been conditioned into me, where it's like you see them and now you experience them. And now for some reason it's like their humanity becomes glorious, sadly. It becomes limited. It becomes like a once in a lifetime type thing where you experience their humanity. And then even when it becomes a downfall, it's just like they're not as great as I thought they would be. Well, of course they're not. They're people. They're people just like you know and it's just it sucks because they have to keep that personality. Themselves and their names are one and the same. They can't develop a personality, a whatever. They're just them. Their parent, I mean their children, even their parents. I mean, maybe their parents live a lesser glamorous life, perhaps, maybe, but their children, they living in this stuff. And like, how sad a fate is that? Because I'm like, these kids gotta live. They have to socialize too, but they can't. because somebody might do something stupid and heinous to them, or they can't because they'll be in bombarded with paparazzi taking pictures of for that sold to the highest bidder for by some fella, um, or they can't do whatever they want to do. They can't act like a regular child, or Beyonce and Jay Z or whatever. They can't. I'm sorry, is his name Sean Combs? I think that's Puff Daddy. Can't remember his name. Can't remember his name. His can't remember Jesus' real name. But this government. But what I'm saying is like they can't go to the park and they just enjoy a night out. They can't sit here and say, "Hey, how you doing?" You know, and he's like, "Hey, I'm doing good." You know, they can't. And maybe sometimes they just have to retreat somewhat that of people who barely know them, and they just are there and they treat it like a nobody, like a regular person. How sad is that? How sad is that? And that's why I just say the media is fake. And I don't mean to say that insultingly. I just mean to say that like the realm of personalities in media are they're false. They're separate from human reality. But that's something we have to understand in our community, in our society. Is just these media personalities aren't real. They're not real. You know, maybe they're extensions of the person, but that's merely extensions. That's a piece, a portion of a person. So I guess I just want to say that, and when it says as verses, they're going against each other. It's like it's bad because the people in the media and personalities of the media, they come to war because of a lack of understanding. You know, they don't even know each other. But here we go, they accuse each other like if somebody's accused. We say kill him or save him or whatever, and we don't even know. We don't know. We hear from legal people this. We hear from the media. Who knows if they care about the truth or themselves? Don't know. It sucks. It's a sad thing, and it's sad thing because I'm a part of it. I try to be honest, but these videos are, in a sense, me being honest, but at the same time, me just discussing, just being honest and just in discussion. And I don't know. I know. What do you think? Um, media versus the people. Sometimes it's a grudge match. Sometimes it's a bloodbath. Sometimes it just ends in loneliness.